Hey y'all, what's up? My name is Kelly Marie. I am a faith based certified life coach, and I help women identify their unique identity in Christ and strengthen their sense of self worthiness. So, today we are talking about the 6 signs of codependency. If you are wondering, like, I wonder if I'm in a codependent relationship, like, is this a healthy relationship? Is this a toxic relationship? Then this video is really going to help you. My hope for you when you are watching this, or if you're listening to this on my podcast, is that you are able to take yourself out of your situation, right? Because if you're listening to this, that means you are actually questioning yourself. Am I in a codependent relationship? Is this a healthy relationship that I'm in? Whether it's a friendship or it's a love relationship, or it may even be a family member, you're questioning. And so my hope for you as you're listening to this is that you are able to become more self-aware, and you're able to look at this from an outside perspective and really say to yourself, although I feel like this person really loves me, if one of these signs is presenting itself in my relationship, that means that that relationship is not at a healthy place. And the solution, by the way, is not always to just cut the relationship off, stop the relationship, right? Sometimes it's communication, because the other person doesn't realize that they're helping foster this toxic environment. Now, here's the thing with codependency. The back part of the whole word, co, meaning it takes more than one, and dependency, meaning one's relying on the other. Codependent environments are created by two people. It's a relational thing, okay? You can also have codependency to things, by the way. You can have a codependency to social media, but it is an environment that's created by two, which means that not that it's your fault, because it's not your fault, right? But what it means is that because it's created by two, if at any point in time one decides to remove themselves or one decides to change their behavior, the codependency goes away. Like, it does not exist. All right. So it's not just in the relationship, and there, sometimes it is communication. You get to decide whether or not you want to be in that relationship or not. It is up to you. Okay. So let's go ahead and kick it off for today with the verse of the day, which comes from Judges chapter 16, 4 through 21. It's actually a little bit longer than the verse of the day, but Judges chapter 16, 4 through 21 is the story of Samson and Delilah. So Samson was the last judge of Israel. If you want to go read, it's in Judges, but he was the last judge of Israel. He was a very strong, very powerful man. And the strength, now no one knew this, but the strength of his power came from his hair. Now, of course, it came from God, but God put it in his hair, basically. And Delilah was someone who came along to seduce Samson to figure out where the power, where his power was coming from. So she was contracted, so to say, by the Philistines, which is who Samson was often fighting against. She was contracted by the Philistines as basically a hitman to figure out where is Samson's power coming from and how can we break him down. And so she seduced him into a relationship. He fell in love with her, not knowing she was a spy. I'm using all these crazy words. Listen, the Old Testament is very spicy, okay? It is very much so giving HBO, Critics' Choice Award, Emmy nominated, Grammy nominated soundtrack. Like, it's very spicy. So she seduces him, and she tries to get him to tell her where his source of power comes from. And 3 times, he does a pretty good job in the beginning of not giving her the information. But Delilah, I was gonna say Samson, Delilah is very manipulative, and eventually she does get her way, and he gives in because he is just tired. She has wore him down on the things that she said, on the things that he said he wasn't gonna do. She wore him down. He stayed in that environment, and she wore him down. And he finally told her, and she called someone to shave his head off, and he lost his power. And his last act before he died was shaking a temple and everyone in the temple died. So it's a very dramatic story, but it resonates. If you want to go read it, please, please, please go read it. But it resonates very heavy because we often get into these relationships, we fall in love or we fall in lust and allow the lust to make us vulnerable to people who we think love us, but they do not love us. And I thought that this story was just a really great illustration of codependency. I can even think of personally, on a personal level, more than a few times where I went into a relationship and it was so codependent that I lost my identity. Like I lost myself. I would change my music preferences. I would wear different style of clothing. I would watch different TV shows. And codependency goes beyond compromise. It goes beyond a healthy interest in your partner's, things that they like. There are, you can look back, you may not know it right now, but you can look back on past relationships and say, wow, I literally changed my entire identity because I was just so deep into what my partner liked. I was so deep into what my boyfriend was into that like, I didn't even look like myself anymore. And so you really notice it when you get out of that relationship for whatever reason. When you get out of that relationship and you look back and you're like, why was I dressing like that? And why was my hair like, what was I watching? And you get back to like actually doing the stuff that you like. Wait. I need you to like, comment, and subscribe. Do not leave this video without liking, commenting, and subscribing. Okay? Who am I? Like, who am I again? Who is Kelly? So here are 6 signs of codependency that will help you determine whether you are in a healthy or a toxic relationship. Please keep in mind, this does not only apply to romantic relationships, even though that's where my examples came from in my personal, but this also applies to friendships. This also applies to work relationships. So you and your supervisor, like if you get into like, I want to be really good friends with my supervisor so I can get a promotion, and you start doing all the things that they do, and like your moods are connected to their moods, and like that is a codependent relationship. So it can happen in work. It can happen in your family life. A lot of parent-child relationships are codependent. And then of course, like I said, relationship love is the most obvious one. So sign number 1 is your moods depend on your partner. You can't be happy if they aren't. There's a difference between empathy and codependency. Like empathy is, I understand that you are sad. I am sad. I identify with the fact that you are sad. I can also sometimes be sad because you're sad, but I can also, like, empathy is, I can have happy moments even when you are sad. Not in spite of you being sad. It's not like you're sad, I'm happy, let's go. Like I'm over here, I'm going to go live my life and go hang out and do whatever, and you're going to be at home being sad. Like not in a spiteful way. But let's say like if your partner is sad and they're in a state of like I was going to say depression, but maybe even if it's just like something happens in their life, like maybe they lose a loved one and they're grieving and they're sad, and you go to work and someone tells a joke and you laugh, like that is okay, right? You have your own life. You have your own emotions. You don't have to carry someone else's emotions with you because you guys are in a relationship, right? If you are sad because they're sad and you cannot be happy if they aren't happy, that is codependency. Okay. Sign number 2, you have strong emotional reactions to your partner's opinions, thoughts, feelings, and judgments. Now, this was really hard for me this was always really hard for me because I consider myself to be an emotional person. Okay. I consider myself to be an emotional person. So, and I get offended very easily. Well, most of the time I get offended very easily. Depends on the situation. And so it took me a really long time to realize, oh, there's a codependency happening here. My emotions are too closely tied to your opinions. Like You should be able to share an opinion, and I'm not standing up on the table yelling, and not actually standing up on the table yelling, but like, you should be able to share your opinions, and I should not be standing up on the table yelling. You know what I mean? Or if you say something to me, I shouldn't automatically be jumping off the side of a cliff, going from 0 to 100. Y'all know what I'm talking about, because you've seen someone who, like, you say something to them, or someone they know says something to them, and they just go from 0 to 100, and the temper is just crazy, and you're like, why is you're such a hothead? That's what we say. You're a hothead. And then we just say, oh, they're a hothead. That's who they are. That's a part of their personality. That is not normal. It is codependency. Your emotional reactions to your partner's opinions, their thoughts, their feelings, their judgments, like, you should be able to hold your composure. It is a part of it is maturity, but you can be mature and still be in a codependent relationship, right? And sometimes, like, certain people make you do that. Like, some people take you there, and certain people don't take you there. That's another way that we define it. We're like, it's just when I'm in this relationship, he just takes me there. Like, and we put it on the other person, like, it just takes me there. But like, you are in a codependent relationship. That's why when you get in another relationship and you're like, I'm so much more calm. Like, I'm so chill. I don't get as mad. Things are just not as intense, because you're not in a codependent relationship. You're in a healthy relationship. Or sometimes it's you leave the person and you're just in a healthy relationship by yourself. Like, you're in a whole, like, single thing where you're not a hothead. You're really not a hothead. By the way, that descriptor is your emotions, and the way you react to things is never just who you are. It's always a decision. Sometimes it's very, very difficult to change, but it's never just, I was born this way, because like, you weren't born that way. There's no such thing. Okay. So you have strong emotional reactions to your partner's opinions, thoughts, feelings, and judgments. Number 3, the third sign of codependency is you worry and think about your partner's problems. Now, here's another one of those things. There is a healthy boundary line here. You can be concerned about their problems, but if you are experiencing anxiety and like physical manifestations of worry because of what that other person is going through, and it's happening a lot, like priority in your mind is their problems, you could be in a codependent relationship. This one may be a little bit harder to determine, because we do care a lot about our partners. Whether it's, like I said, a love relationship, or someone at work, like your supervisor, or, you know, your mom or your dad or your sister, you know, you care about their problems. But if you are having anxiety and it is physically manifesting, like sweaty palms, increased heartbeat because of someone else's problems, that is codependency. You cannot own someone else's problems. It's actually very unhealthy, because then you start to like think to yourself, how can I help them? And then your entire life starts to get wrapped around trying to save that person. And that is not healthy. Okay. Sign number 4 is your attention to your partner prevents you from having time for interest in your own career, hobbies, or activities. So the example with Kourtney Kardashian, and the example with so many of us. You get it. You have these aspirations to have a certain career. You've got your own hobbies. You've got your own activities. You get into a relationship. You completely throw all of that stuff out the window, and you do it slowly. A lot of times it happens slowly. You're like, well, I don't have to be that career. Like, I can do something else that's better for our relationship, or that's better for you. Or I don't really have to, you know, go out and bowl this weekend and yada, yada. I don't have to do my knitting because it bothers you. So I don't really have to do it. I can compromise and not do it. That's what we say. I can compromise. Like, there is a difference between compromising and disregarding the things that bring you happiness and the things that you want to do. Writing down your goals before you get into a relationship, so important. Like, I encourage you to write it down. If you're just writing every single day, it helps, because you honestly, sometimes you don't know when you're going to get in a relationship. You go out one day, you bump into somebody, y'all go on a coffee date, whatever. You start dating, right? You don't know all the time. So journaling helps you Just start now. Like, even if you're in a relationship, just start now. Because when you write things down and then you go back and read them later, even if it's like an hour later or 2 hours later, it's easier for you to take yourself out of the situation and look from an outside perspective. And it's easier to identify these things, honestly. But yeah, your attention to your partner should not prevent you from doing the things that you love. It should not prevent you from going after your goals and aspirations. Sign number 5, you only want to spend time with your partner and drop other activities if your partner disapproves or won't accompany you. This is a huge one. Y'all, everybody has a friend who, when they get into a relationship, they disappear. Like, where are you? We used to hang out all the time. We ain't got to hang out every day. I know you got a man, but where did you go, sis? Like, we still weekly. Can I get a weekly hangout appointment, or can I get a phone call or a text message or something? Because you get a man and you forget about us. We all have a friend like that. That's codependency. It's a lot easier to see from an outside perspective. But when you're the one, when you're like, well, we just got into a relationship and I just want to spend time with him and I'll see y'all in 2 weeks. Like, when you're the one, it seems like I am just enthralled and I'm like all into my relationship and it feels good and I want to feel good. So I know y'all gonna be here anyway because y'all my friends. So I'll see y'all in a bit. Like, yeah, when it's you, it doesn't seem that way. But there is a healthy balance. You still have to have time to yourself. And I'm saying romantic, but this happens in friendships a lot too with women. Feminine energy, where we find a new friend and I'm hanging out with my new friend, and my old friends that have been riding with me are like, who is this new girl? Like, who is this chick? And if she's not going to come, you're not going to come. Like, what? We invited you out, but you're saying if she not going to come, you're not going to come. But let's say that they invited both of y'all and you say that's codependent. Like, it starts out as harmless and it evolves into you losing your entire identity, and you start to get a low sense of self-worth because you don't know who you are. And then if God forbid, if that relationship ends, friendship, relation, love, whatever, if the relationship ends, then you really lost, and that causes a tank in your self-esteem. Then you have to rebuild yourself back up. But you shouldn't be on this roller coaster where, like, it is not normal for you to be on this roller coaster where you're like, oh, great relationship. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, we're in a relationship. Oh, I lost a friend. Oh, I'm back down here. Like, I don't know who I am. Like, there are only so many times that you need to rediscover yourself before you start to realize that you know who you are, but you're throwing away your personalities and your likes and dislikes and your hobbies and your aspirations for other people. It's 2024. We're not doing that no more. We are not doing that no more. Okay. And then last sign number 6 of codependency is you try to please your partner because you're afraid of rejection. Woo, this one I have dealt with heavy because I am non-confrontational. Do we have any non-confrontation ladies in the building? Okay, I'm non-confrontational. So what I would do, past tense, is I would just agree with you, or whatever you want to do, that's what it's going to be, or whatever you say, that's what's going to be, because I did not want to experience rejection. When you're in a healthy relationship, you will do things according to your own discernment, and you will make decisions that you feel are going to benefit. Sometimes it's to benefit both of y'all, but you're going to do what you feel is right, regardless of whether the other person is going to reject that or not. Not saying I'm going to do whatever I want to do and I don't care if you hear or not hear and da-da-da-da-da. Like, not that attitude, but the attitude of like, this is what I feel is best for me, so I'm going to do that for me. If you love me, you'll be okay with that. But I'm not going to change what I think what I think I should do or what's best for me because I have a fear that you're going to leave. Fear of abandonment is a sign of codependency. It's a part of codependency. Okay. So it's you changing your entire disposition because you're afraid that person is going to reject you. If the person really loves you, they're going to love you anyway. They may not like the decision that you make for yourself. They may not necessarily understand it. A lot of times it's not even a like or dislike because they just don't get it. for various reasons. But if they love you, they're not going to up and leave based off of that, right? If it's really a relationship that is meant to be, they're not just going to up and leave based off of that. They'll say, well, can you explain it to me? Like, help me understand why you want to do this, why you want to make this decision. They're going to seek to understand. Love will seek to understand. Okay. And sometimes, depending on how long y'all been together, sometimes a person will be like, I know I'm not going to get it, but go ahead, boo, do you? Like, sometimes that happens too, right? These are the 6 signs of codependency. Hopefully this video helped you guys. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all in the next video. Bye, y'all.